Welcome to this meeting of the Community Safety Board of West Lothian Council. I'm Councillor Lawrence Fitzpatrick and I chair this board. The meeting has been broadcast live and a recording will be available afterwards through the Council's website. I'm being assisted today by Julie Whitelaw and colleagues from Committee Services and IT. Attendees may be joining the meeting from another location. Everything said, while microphones are live, will be broadcast and recorded. Members are asked to be polite, respectful and patient. There's more information, including a privacy statement about meeting arrangements, on the Council's website. An agenda has been published showing the business for today's meeting. I will introduce each item. Usually a Council officer will speak briefly about the report. Councillors then ask questions, have a discussion and make decisions which are required. Councillors may leave the meeting from time to time where they've declared interests that prevent them taking part. There will be a pause while that happens, and they will be invited back in for the next item of business. If the meeting is a long one, it may be adjourned temporarily for a meal break or a comfort break, and I will say if that's going to happen. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Chair, I have no apologies from members. I do have apologies from the Chief Executive, and also for the benefit of anyone listening online, Councillor Craig Meek has joined remotely. Okay,
thank you very much. And amongst members, are there any declarations of interest? Doesn't seem to be. We have a new area commander present from Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. So perhaps the best idea would be if we could all introduce ourselves, and we'll work clockwise. I'm Councillor Lawrence Fitzpatrick, Council Leader. Committee Services, IT as well, yeah, please. You've all got names.
Hi, my name's Andrew and I'm the IT and AV Services representative for this meeting.
Hi there, Lorraine McGroty from Committee Services.
Hi, Elaine MacArthur-Kerr, Chief Inspector and Local Area Commander for West Lothian.
Good afternoon, I'm Paul Harvey, the Local Authority Liaison Officer for Scottish Fire and Rescue Service.
Good afternoon everybody, my name's Eddie Kenner. I am the Local Senior Officer, Temporary Area Commander for Falkirk and the West Lothian area. Chair, thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Alison Smith. I'm from Housing, Customer and Building Services and Senior Manager responsible for Housing Operations and Community Safety.
Good afternoon, I'm Yvonne Beresford, Policy and Performance Officer based within Housing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Graham Struthers, one of the Council's Deputy Chief Executives.
Councillor Susan Mannion, Deputy Leader of the Council.
Good afternoon, I'm Julie Whitelaw, Head of Housing, Customer and Building Services, supporting the Chair today.
Okay, thank you all very much and welcome. Welcome, Eddie. The order of business is as per the agenda. Can we confirm the draft minute of the meeting of the Community Safety Board held on 30th October last year? Is that agreed? Thank you. And can we note the minute of the Community Planning Steering Group held on 18th November? Thank you. We now move on to item 5, the performance report for 24-25 by Yvonne Beresford. Yvonne.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone.
Could you pull your mic nearer your mouth? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. And good afternoon, everyone. The Community Safety Partnership Performance Report covers a suite of indicators and actions for Q2 relating to the Community Safety Plan 2022 to 2025. With regards to the indicators, there were no performance indicators reporting red or amber as at Q2. There were 2 anti-poverty performance indicators reporting green as at Q2. Those were the number of customers who engaged with the Drug and Alcohol Partnership Project and the total number of onward referrals for further support for customers engaged with the Drug and Alcohol Partnership Project. There were 4 performance indicators noted as unknown. These are owned by the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, and these were the number of accidental dwelling fires per 10,000 population, the number of fatalities resulting from accidental dwelling fires per 10,000 population, The number of casualties resulting from accidental dwelling fires, again from per 10,000 population, and the number of home fire safety visits that were completed. There was one data-only performance indicator, which was the number of young people aged between 8 and 11 years that go to the appropriate agency instead of the early and effective intervention due to the age of criminal responsibility. The Community Safety Partnership continues to work on activities which continue to support the current delivery of the Community Safety Plan 22 to 25 in order to achieve the outcomes set. Out of the total 41 actions, there are currently 19 completed actions and 22 actions to progress with a varying degree of completion. The partners are working towards completing these by the end of March, where possible, and any outstanding actions will be continued by the lead agency for completion or transposed onto the new plan for continuation. The details of the indicators and actions in progress are included with the papers. And Chair, this concludes the performance update, and I'm happy to take any questions relating to the community safety performance.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Are there any questions? Always watching if someone comes online late. Doesn't seem to be any questions. Any comments? Oh, sorry, Councillor Mannion, beg your pardon.
Thank you, Chair. Just in extremely comprehensive, and there's a lot of information, and which is really, really helpful. And clearly, the progress is significant across a whole range of indicators here. But I just wanted to ask something very specific in relation to the. It's on, actually the page numbers are not there, so it's under the item that relates to tackling drug supply and misuse through enforcement, the SSP 3.03 and 3.04. It's about improving access to uptake of drug prevention. It was a question in relation to the involvement of parent councils or parents in relation to issues around looking at drug prevention around schools and across young people. Just wanted to check that that's included as part of the planning arrangements for that. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The officers that attend the schools, of school link officers, they will be providing prevention matters relating to drug and alcohol prevention, and this will be tailored with the curriculum as set by the Education Department. There are also other events that take place throughout West Lothian over the year, which may be national events and communication through media, etc.
Thank you. Any other questions? Didn't seem to be. Any comments? Fine. Thank you very much. And we note the recommendation. We now move on to Bonfire Fireworks 2004 debrief and evaluation. And that's Paul Harvey, please.
Thank you, Chair. I know you've been provided with a copy of the report. I will cover the salient points and take any questions at the end if that is okay. So this is to provide the Community Safety Board with an overview of the multi-agency preventative activities undertaken within West Lothian during the bonfire period 2024. As has happened in the past, Scottish Fire and Rescue Service provide updated versions of the bonfire and fireworks safety presentations. These are delivered to all schools. They are provided with speaker notes and can be delivered by the education providers themselves. However, the offer is made that Scottish Fire and Rescue Service will attend and deliver these presentations. Operational crews mainly deliver to primary schools, and the Community Action Team contact all high schools and deliver the presentations. As we've done in the last couple of years, we have delivered these presentations jointly with colleagues from Police Scotland, and we found that's worked well. Scottish Fire and Rescue Service covering the main safety points, and Police Scotland colleagues covering the law around fireworks and misuse of fireworks in particular. There was extensive community engagement. We worked with West Lothian Youth Action Project regarding their street work, and we attended the West Lothian Youth Action Project groups, working with the high tariff youngsters that those groups work with. Operational crews from Bathgate attended Blackburn Partnership Centre, an area that we've previously had issues in the past. And we also supported the BBNAG, or the Blackburn Bonfire Night Action Group, attending their meetings and evaluation. The Youth Volunteer Service, which is a Scottish Fire and Rescue Service cadets service that runs from Livingston Fire Station, that assisted delivering fire prevention and fireworks safety postcards to the local area. Regarding media and messaging, so a firework safety stakeholder toolkit was provided by the Scottish Government. This was shared across the Community Safety Partnership and promoted wherever possible. West Lothian Council Media, for the second year running, provided a bonfire safety page. It's a particular landing page with safety materials from a number of different partners to promote safety during the bonfire period. That media messaging was supported by releases from Trading Standards, covering legislation regarding the proxy sale of fireworks to under 18s and the times that fireworks can be purchased, as well as supported by media releases by Waste Services regarding wheelie bins, making sure you put them out as late as possible and take them back in, as they can be targeted during the bonfire period. We yet again have had a good working relationship with Crime Stoppers and Fearless, who have provided us with highly visible banners which were displayed across the county in the week before bonfire period, and they again provided the postcards that were delivered by the Youth Volunteer Scheme. West Lothian is lucky in that it is well supported with organised bonfire displays. Once again, these were advertised on the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service website, and people were encouraged to attend those rather than have displays themselves. A lot of the work regarding the safety of the bonfire happens in the lead up. And once again, we worked with NETS and Road Services to identify bonfires under construction, to make assessments of whether they presented a community risk, and if necessary, they were removed by NETS and Road Services. Trading Standards visited licensed firework retailers and carried out inspections at all registered firework retailers and identified no breaches. Some of those inspections took place along with fire safety enforcement officers. On bonfire night itself, I liaised with colleagues from Police Scotland, West Lothian Youth Action Project and the Safer Neighbourhood team, who were out and about across the county, liaising with people who were having bonfires and promoting safety, and reporting back in so that everyone was aware of the emerging pattern across the area. Disappointingly, there was one reported instance of Police Scotland and SFRS crews coming under attack from stones in the Blackridge area, and I know that Police Scotland apprehended one individual in relation to that. I do think it's important to point out that that was an isolated incident, and overall during the bonfire period, the residents on the constituents were well behaved and most people enjoyed their evening. So in the conclusion, as I've already said, I think it would be wise to continue the delivery of the media messaging or the education with SFRS and Police Scotland. I think the risk-based approach, using the agreed safe parameters within the West Lothian Bonfire Plan for assessing bonfires under construction and for those that have already been lit, would be recommended to continue. The collaborative work that we've done with Crime Stoppers and Fearless, which, as well as promoting the safe use of fireworks, also promotes the anonymous reporting of firework-related crime and the safety of emergency workers and communities. The West Lothian Community Safety Partnership worked collaboratively to share in messaging and intelligence which increased public awareness and allowed targeted interventions in areas of concern. And the creation of the West Lothian Council Bonfire Safety landing page and the media release strategy appears to have been effective in spreading the safety messaging. That, Chair, concludes my report. The Community Safety Board are invited to consider the report and make any comment in relation to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Are there any questions? Councillor Meek.
Thanks very much, Chair, and thanks very much, Paul, for taking us through that report. In terms of Blackburn, I did notice on social media this year that there was quite a wee bit of antisocial behaviour around misuse of fireworks. Was any of the reports made to yourselves or any of the partners?
In the week prior to Bonfire Night, we did have one instance of antisocial behaviour about 7 to 10 days prior to Bonfire Night. And I know from attending the BBNAG that there was social media reports of social behaviour on Bonfire Night. It wasn't something that we were aware of on the evening itself.
That's perfect. Thanks very much, Paul. And last question, Chair, if I may. In terms of yourselves or any of the other partners, will you be recommending any firework control zones for West Lothian at this point?
There's been extensive conversations around firework control zones. We, at this point, would be recommending the alternatives to firework control zones that West Lothian has been provided with over a number of years, and which I think have been successful in keeping down the number of fire-related crimes. However, we obviously are open to discussion on the zones. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks very much. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Any further questions? Any comments? Can I say, Susan, Councillor Mannion?
Thank you, Chair. Just in relation to, I know again, thank you for taking us through this. There's clearly a huge amount of work being done, and given the concerns in advance, although unfortunately there was at least one incidence of an attack, we feared that it might be a bit more than that. So that is great news. It was just in relation to Blackridge, particularly around the stables that are there. We did have some concerns raised by the stables that they weren't. I don't know if the firework display in Blackridge was registered or unregistered. However, what it meant was, because they weren't aware of it, they weren't able to take preventative action in terms of calming the horses, and as a result, there was a case of sort of injury in relation to a horse, and they had to be called and stuff. So I just wanted to note that, really, so that we can maybe just look at it in terms of what it is that we do and communicate in advance, so that preventative action can be taken when required. I tend to think of animals, we think about domestic pets, but obviously there's farm animals, or in this case, horses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Meek, please.
Thanks very much, Chair. I welcome this report. It demonstrates great partnership working throughout multi-agencies, and actually the proof is there that the partnership work and the proactive work that everybody is doing is making a big difference, because we have seen a reduction in behaviours around fireworks night. Very, very disappointed to hear the attacks on the emergency services workers. These workers should be able to go about their work, supporting their communities and protecting their communities, and continue to do the very best that they do without any fear or alarm while that works. So I just want to say thank you very much for all your hard work that you do in protecting the communities. Thanks.
Thank you. I have two comments to make. One, it's the antisocial behaviour isn't a new thing, or even in the last few years. I can remember being a young adult in Whitburn, and the fire service was attacked as well at that time. That's going back 40 years. So therefore, the work which is done with schools is so critically important, just to let these youngsters understand that fire and rescue service are doing a critical job and they're there to not only serve the community, but to keep us safe. And in many instances, have saved many, many lives. The second comment I would make is I had quite a lot, and I'm sure every councillor did, quite a lot of complaints about people with pets, particularly dogs. And we've got a grand dog, a wee Jack Russell. What I understand does help is that if the dog is kept close to, say, the television, which seems to be bumming all day in most living rooms in the land, turn the sound up, and it tends to distract the dog from the noise. I don't know if you've heard that, Paul.
Thank you, Chair. I've heard of instances of people using music or, for instance, the television to distract animals, and I believe there's some guidance relating to that on the SSPCA's website around fireworks.
There's maybe scope next year for getting that information conveyed, because they probably are a very useful partner, because I understand the point that was made about horses by my colleague, Councillor Mannion, but there are cows and sheep, etc. in the field as well. And maybe something that could assist farmers, and maybe the NFU have maybe a view on it as well. Thank you for your report. Thank you very much. You're earning your keep today, Paul, because you're speaking on water safety. Do we have a glass of water for you?
I'm okay, Chair. Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair.
We have the slides, which we've read, about the Scottish picture and the partnership approach to water safety. And we've all read it. But I just wondered, are there any questions? Councillor Mannion.
Well, it was more of a comment than a question.
Well, okay. If there are no questions, we'll move on to comment.
Okay. It was just actually to note, as I was going through this, I was trying to work out, because it's really really thorough, a lot of work gone into it, and it's essential. And my question at the beginning was going to be, where's the action plan? Then I found a photocopy of the action plan. So again, that's a huge piece of work. So I think we've all got a role in making sure that this is implemented and all taken forward. So it's really helpful. Thank you very much.
Any other comments? A bit of a think about this myself, and flooding, through heavy rainfall and canals or rivers burstings, really limited to very few places in West Lothian. And we've always managed these things before without any particular danger. But in terms of warm weather, dry weather, where young people go into ponds or lochs, and we have small lochs, I think sometimes they don't understand how cold the water can be. And I just wonder, when we, through your work with schools, whether we get that message over to young children, how important it is not to go so far and to understand that, unlike the seaside, you're not just walking out, but it's a sheer drop in a large pond or a loch.
No, not exactly, Chair. We do deliver water safety presentations normally in the lead up to the long summer holidays, when we expect people to be congregating around inland waters as well as coastal waters. And just prior to the Christmas break there, we also sent the schools the ice safety presentations, promoting safety around frozen waters, etc. during that time. So that's something that we conduct throughout the year. Sometimes it relates to specific information that we get, that we know that young people are accessing a particular body of water. And that's something that's at the forefront throughout the year. So we do share that information with schools.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, well, thank you very much, Paul, for your paper, and we wrote it. And we now move on to item 8, Housing, Customer and Building Services. Yvonne again, please.
Thank you, Chair. The review report for the Community Safety Plan 2022 to 25 is an evaluation review of the current plan. The aim of the plan itself was to reduce incidents of crime and harm and prevent offending and re-offending, whilst removing the opportunity for escalation of incidents, thus promoting a safe and nurturing environment to live and work. The priority topics that we've covered over the 3 years have a variety of community concerns and included financial harm, road and water safety, as we've heard today, rural crime, women and girls safety, drugs and alcohol, mental health, suicide prevention, unintentional harm, hoarding, serious and organised crime, and poverty and inequality issues. The community safety partners developed a list of high-level strategic priorities considering the 5 key principles, which were the partnership, people, performance, prevention and place. The update position of these have been covered today earlier, Chair, in the separate performance report. The partnership are working to complete the outstanding work by the end of March 25, and unfinished work will continue as work in progress until completion. Thank you, Chair, and again, happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Are there any comments? Okay, well, thank you very much, Yvonne, and we note the recommendation. And you again, Yvonne, I hope you've got a glass of water as well. You're on the Community Safety Plan 25 to 28.
Thank you, Chair. The draft copy of the new Community Safety Plan outlines the current achievements of the partnership working to date. It provides an indication of where the partnership feel that they can provide additionality to the priorities that are already being delivered and reported on from the current individual service strategic plans at both national and local levels, and also includes the partnership working already in existence. The new plan will continue to be delivered with a place-based and people-centred approach. The identified focus for the partnership will be under the headings of partnership, people, places and prevention. The new priorities are covering hate crime and sextortion, antisocial behaviour, mental health and gender-based violence, consumer protection and safety, road safety, the accidental dwelling fires and derelict buildings, empty homes, locality planning and preventative partnership working, serious and organised crime and suicide prevention. Thank you, Chair, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Are there any questions? Doesn't seem to be. Are there any comments? Seems to be working well. Okay, we're happy to note the recommendation. And finally, we move on to Community Safety Board meeting dates, January to June this year. We all okay for these in our diaries? Especially since we have a lot of busy people here. I know it's very difficult to fit things in. Okay, can I thank you for your attendance?